Is China holding back rare earth magnets from companies tied to the U.S. military right now?
We haven't even finished the agreement, which we hope to have done by Thanksgiving. And I am confident that post our meeting in Korea between the two leaders, President Trump, President Xi, that China will honor their agreement.
Are you saying that you do not expect the Chinese Communist Party to hold back rare earth minerals from military-related companies in America?
I am saying the agreement is that the magnets will flow freely as they did before April 4th.
China needs the deep liquidity of our capital markets. You've got a lot of companies trading on U.S. exchanges right now. Some of them are actually on entity lists. So is that one of the levers you're going to pull?
Maria, all options are on the table.
That's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent with me on Sunday and telling us that a rare earths deal between the U.S. and China should be done by Thanksgiving. It comes just weeks after President Trump met with Xi Jinping in South Korea. The two agreed to the free flow of rare earth magnets to the United States and the world from China for 1 year, as well as soybean purchases in exchange for lower tariffs and limits to the U.S. entity list. Joining me now is Arkansas Congressman Bruce Westerman. He's the chairman of the House Natural Resources Committee. And, Mr. Chairman, President Trump has been thinking about this a lot. Thanks very much for joining us this morning. And the president is trying to get the supply chains here in America so we don't have to depend on China. How do we secure the flow of rare earth minerals right now, which are so needed not just for technology, but for the military?
Well, thank you, Maria, and good to be with you. We're way behind the 8 ball on rare earths and critical minerals. And, you know, China's producing 70% of them and processing 90% of them. These are critical to national security and to our economy. And really, if we want to start building things in America again, a lot of it starts with mining. And if we want to mine these rare earths and critical minerals, we have to get a permitting process that works. Right now, we have a broken permitting process. And in the House Natural Resources Committee, we're working to fix that with the SPEED Act.
Yeah, I know, and I want to get into the SPEED Act for sure, but this historic 43-day government shutdown did not help. It left significant effects of the economy and the nation's public lands as key agencies were forced to furlough their workforces, Mr. Chairman. So the shutdown impacted natural resources as well, and we didn't have any permitting there. So tell us about the SPEED Act and the impact of this, first, the impact of the government shutdown, and then I want to get to the SPEED Act.
Well, the government shutdown obviously hurt us in Congress as far as having hearings and getting our agenda pushed through. But when you look at our federal lands, which falls under our committee, things like the National Park Service, we saw a lot of people out working without getting paid. You know, my hat's off to them, and I salute them and Secretary Burgum and the President for making sure that our public lands were open and accessible, even though they were being managed with very strained workforce and again, folks working without getting paid. So glad to have the government back open, to be in D.C. and to be working on these issues again.
All right. So you recently introduced the Standardizing, Permitting, and Expediting Economic Development Act, or the so-called SPEED Act. This legislation aims to meet skyrocketing energy demands, lead the world in the AI race. Tell us about the SPEED Act and what is the likely path forward.
So we're planning to have a markup on the SPEED Act and pass it out of committee on Thursday. It's got to be a bipartisan bill because it's going to require 60 votes in the Senate. But the bill's necessary because, again, we just can't build things in America anymore like we used to. And we saw COVID highlighted that, how many things we depend on that are being built and manufactured in other countries. So if we want to build here again, we have to have a permitting process that works. And what the SPEED Act does, it will provide certainty. Number one, it will provide certainty that we protect the resources that we have, that we're good stewards of those. That's why these laws were put in place to begin with. But they've gone awry and they've become like a wet blanket to doing projects. It takes 4.7 years to get a NEPA permit through the NEPA process. If you're looking at mining, like we're talking about for rare earths and critical minerals, the National Mining Association just put out that it took 29 years to go from discovery to actually producing materials from a mine. That's obviously way too long and sounds preposterous, but that's the world we live in. So we want to have certainty that we're being good stewards, but we want a process that works quickly, hence the SPEED Act. We want it to work quickly to get a project in the queue to do the permitting and then to get the permit issued at the end. And then we want certainty that you're actually going to be able to build the project after you get the permit. Right now, we've got a law that says for 6 years after you get a record of decision, a lawsuit can be filed and challenged in court, an injunction can be put in place. And we've seen projects with billions of dollars invested where the project developer went through the process, got their permit, and then somebody sued and a judge did an injunction, and you've got all that capital tied up with no return on investment. You know, that kind of uncertainty scares investors away. You know, and finally, we want certainty that once a project is approved and it's in construction, that you don't get this ping pong effect of administration switching and the bureaucracy ending the project. So you want certainty that you can actually build the project after you get it permitted. And right now, whether you're talking about infrastructure, roads, bridges, railroads, all of those things are suffering. Even in the reconciliation bill, we put funding in there to upgrade the air traffic control system.
Yeah.
Guess what? It's held up in the NEPA permitting process because we can't run fiber optics cables into the airport terminals.
Well, what you're talking about really are long-term investments in America. And this is something that I got into with Mike Wirth just recently, the chairman and CEO of Chevron. And he said specifically he needs to see some of these executive orders that President Trump has put in place codified into law, because they're making huge investments for long-term projects, whether it be drilling or fracking in the oil business, just like construction projects. These are multi-years, and you know they don't want to commit all this capital if they think that this is based on an executive order that's going to change when we have a new president.
Right. These projects take longer than the term of a president. Just the permitting takes longer than the term one term for a president. So Congress has to act to put certainty in the process so that we can build again. So if we want to beat China, if we want to have jobs here, if we want to have security, then we have to have permitting reform. Yeah,
and you believe this will be taken seriously and taken up by your colleagues?
Yes, we plan to pass it out of the House Natural Resources Committee this Thursday and hope to see it on the floor of the House and then get over to the Senate. And again, it's got bipartisan support. We need to grow that support because it doesn't matter what you're trying to build. This permitting process is a hindrance to it. And again,
by the way,
if you're
this is something that the president talks about all the time with all of his easing back of regulations, exactly what he's talking about to actually create growth and make growth a priority, Congressman. So we'll be watching you work on this. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you, Maria.
All right, Bruce Westerman, good to see you, sir.